is really the moment. I can't remember a time recently where the government has been so isolated, where they have been so alone in their narrative that this is the only way that we can treat asylum seekers. We are really on the cusp of crushing this, but we need to take this momentum and deepen it and make it broader than ourselves. So I encourage you, if you're a teacher, come and introduce yourself, get involved in the action on Wednesday, look us up online. Or if you are anybody at all, if you have a shift next week and you want to get together with your group of colleagues and hold a sign, or, in your office, a bunch of you want to come out and make a statement. If you want to pass a petition around people who you haven't had this conversation with before, I recommend that now is the time to do it. Now is the time to galvanise this support. We need to keep coming out and keep building those connections, but we also need to be ready on the front line the day that the government does start to remove these people. So if you're not on a list to be out there on the action lines to stop these deportations, I very much recommend that you get on one before you leave this rally tonight. Thanks very much.
Thanks so much, Lucy. Hey, how good was it when Daniel Andrews offered your entire state as sanctuary? That is the type of moral leadership we need to see. We don't, making new laws that make it legal to send babies to offshore detention camps is not moral leadership. Well done, Dan Andrews. Is everybody using the hashtag #LetThemStay? Send out another tweet. I'm just getting some numbers updates in from the other cities, but I'll give that in the next round. Our next speaker is Matt Tinkler, who's the Director of Policy and Advocacy at Save the Children, who for 2 years provided child protection, welfare, education and recreation support for children and their families in immigration detention on Nauru, until their contract was not renewed by the Australian Government in October 2015. Please make Matt welcome.
Thank Dan and the team at the Human Rights Law Centre for being with. Without fearless advocates like them, we wouldn't be here tonight. They deserve your support, and more than that, they deserve your financial support. They rely on donations to survive, so please go to their website, give General C for the Human Rights Law Centre. Speak up, okay. I want to tell you about Nauru. Imagine you're on a plane 4 hours from Brisbane in the middle of the Pacific. You finally break the clouds, and its remoteness strikes you instantly. The airport runway takes up a full quarter of the island's circumference. It's hot, sticky hot, and as soon as you get off the plane you're sweating. Then you drive through a working phosphate mine into the inhospitable centre of Nauru. The dust sticks to your tongue, phosphate dust. And it's here, literally, on bulldozed rubble, piles of rocks, that the tents of Refugee Processing Centre 3 are pitched. It's ironically named Refugee Processing Centre because until the eve of this High Court decision, it processed no one. I was there at the time, and within a day, hundreds of refugee status determination decisions were made. But it's here in this 50-degree heat in the centre of Nauru that families, women, children eat, sleep and live in vinyl tents. They've been there for over 2 years. We know because we were there for that time, and we know that 1 day spent in detention is 1 day too many for a child. And all our staff were there to pick up the pieces when a child sewed its lips together in a desperate cry for help. We were teachers, we were comforters, and we just plain cared. And for our troubles, our staff were kicked off Nauru. But I'm proud to work for Save the Children. We spoke up because it was the right thing to do. We spoke up because we know that there's got to be a better way than sending innocent children back to these conditions in detention on Nauru. Detention is no place for children. I want to take a moment just to mention the Nauruan people. I ask you not to direct your anger at the people of Nauru. They're a proud and welcoming people. But they're a developing country and they don't have the standards that we're used to in Australia. I ask you to direct your anger at the policymakers who keep people stranded there. It's your government, your taxpayer dollars, who pay to keep people behind wire on Nauru. Now, I'm lucky enough to be a father of two beautiful children, and last week my daughter had the first day of prep. And I was overjoyed to be there on her first day, but I did so with a heavy heart. Because as a parent, I can tell you this: you cannot unsee detention on Nauru. And I know that the parents of those children who are here and in Nauru want the same thing that I do. They want a chance at life in a country that's lucky and fair. And a country that's big enough and smart enough and compassionate enough to do better. There's more than 60 million people who are refugees or displaced in the world at the moment. More than ever before, more than any time since the end of World War II. 60 million. That's 15 times the population of Melbourne. And tonight we're talking about 267. So by being here tonight, you're sending an important message to our government, to our leaders. That message is not in our name and not with our money. So I say to Malcolm Turnbull tonight, I say to our Prime Minister, be on the right side of history. Let them stay.
Until I give you the signal, alright? Let's give Malcolm Turnbull a call. Probably not speaking. He hung up on us. Maybe, wait, I'll put my number on private. They probably know me by now. I did this the other day at a rally in Sydney at immigration, and they kept me on the line for a couple of minutes, so I'm getting hip to my game. We should call Bill Shorten as well. Can someone give me Bill Shorten's number as well? I don't have him saved on my phone. Alright, we're trying again.
Hello, my name's Sally. I'm here with about 6,000 people at the State Library in Melbourne, and we've just got a message for you.
Let them stay! 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 Let them stay!
Thanks so much. So if you could call me back, that would be brilliant. Bye.
So what are we going to do tomorrow? Call him again. You can even chant to him down the phone. Why not? Morning. What's that? Dutton. Alright, maybe we'll do a call between each speaker, I think, because I need to get the number for Shorten. I'd also just had a numbers update from the other cities. We've got 5,000 people in Sydney, 3,000 people in Brisbane, we've got 100 people in Perth. The Daily Telegraph reckons there's now 150 people here, so I reckon there's about 6,000 of us here, which is incredible. There's also more than 100 community organised events in parks and towns and living rooms across the country. So I reckon there's probably 1,000 people spread out between them as well. Next speaker is Luke Hilikari. Please make him welcome.
Comrades, brothers and sisters, how are we doing? Well, I'm here speaking on behalf of the 1.8 million union members we have in this country, and we're angry. I want to know, are you angry too? Now, we come to rallies because we want to be heard, don't we? And so let me ask you some questions. Do you think we should lock up children in detention? No! Do you think we should lock up asylum seekers offshore? No! Do you think our federal politicians have a heart? No! We don't think so either. We are sick to death of talking to politicians to help them try to find their heart. You know, we expect this garbage from the Liberal Party. We expect this garbage from Malcolm Turnbull. We expect this garbage from Peter Dutton. But we don't expect this garbage from the Labor Party. Now, the unions built the Labor Party, and I'll tell you what, we did not build them to persecute people fleeing violence and fleeing terror. But it doesn't take much for them to change. All they have to look is right here in Victoria to Premier Daniel Andrews, and they can find their heart right here. Let me be clear. I'm here to say that unions condemn offshore detention. We condemn the jailing of children. We condemn mandatory detention. And we condemn our federal leaders for their lack of heart. Now, comrades, these sounds like some dark days. But guess what? There's a whole lot of hope out of there too. Like, look at all you people here saying what?
Let them stay! Let them stay! Let them stay!
Alright, I'm going to call out a group, and then you're going to say that little chant we just did there, right? So, Australian churches say.
Let them stay!
Victorian hospitals say.
Let them stay!
Australian unions say.
Let them stay!
Daniel Andrews say.
Let them stay!
Nearly all our premiers across Australia say.
Let them stay!
What do we say?
Let them stay!
What do you say?
Let them stay!
What do you say?
Let them stay!
Yeah, right, let them say. That's our message to Canberra. That's our message to those gutless politicians. So, let me finish up on this. Will you all stand up against Malcolm Turnbull?
Yes!
Will you stand up against Peter Dutton?
Yes!
Will you stand up to Bill Shorten?
Yes!
Will you stand up for asylum seekers?
Yes!
Will you be back?
Yes!
Will you be back?
Yes!
Well, so will we. Congratulations everyone for turning out.
Thank you so much, Luke. Luke's from the Victorian Trades Hall. I didn't say that before. Alright, let's give Bill a call.
Sally, I'm here with about 6,000 people at Melbourne Stands for Sanctuary, and we've just got a message for the Prime Minister if you would able to pass it on. Oh, sorry. Same message.
Let them stay! 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 Let them stay!
Let them stay. Brilliant. Thanks, mate. Thanks. I don't know why I said you be Prime Minister. Because, you know. Our next speaker is Shanaria Sami. Sorry, Shen. She's the Human Rights Director at GAV and also the Executive Director of No Business and Abuse. Please make her welcome.
Friends, let me tell you something. 15 years ago, I stood in the middle of the South Australian desert and I watched a plane fly over my head carrying two little boys on their way to Afghanistan. And as I watched that plane, I knew I had failed to stop it. And since then, I have failed to tear down the walls and barbed wire in which those two little boys were held. And since then, I have failed to adequately respond to the craven slogans delivered by politicians that have seduced people in my community and in my country. And on that day, I said, that needs to stop. And every year since, every one of those 15 years, I've said, that needs to stop. And at the close of every one of those 15 years, I've stared failure in the face. We have stared failure in the face. Because the words, stop the boats, have been written in stone for the last 15 years across the political landscape of this country. And for 15 years, we have failed. 2 days before Christmas, I sat down with some of the 267 people whose lives we literally come here to save. And with my heart in my mouth and failure right in front of me, I said, I think we will lose the High Court case. I said, I think our public campaign will have very little impact. I drew the polls and I said 25% of the country is all I can rely on. I said this country has an unanswered black history, it has many failures and it fears the other. And as I walked out at Christmas time, I thought yet again we will fail. The only commitment I could give them, and I gave it on behalf of all of you as well, was whatever happens, we will not stop. And this week, we have learned that that is the only commitment that we need to make. Because this week, on Tuesday, the Fairfax papers across the country splashed the photos of 15 babies on their front pages. And let me tell you, getting those photos was not easy. And on Wednesday, lawyers stood on the steps of the High Court with tears in their eyes and spoke out. And on Thursday, the churches spoke out. And by Friday, more than 50,000 people in this country had signed petitions and thousands more had marched in the streets. And then on Saturday, Daniel Andrews came out. And then on Sunday, most of the elected state and territory leaders in this country came out. And this morning at 4 o'clock in the morning, when I woke up for the first time, I dared to hope that I might not end this year with failure.